敬礼，传承祖师。
Let's pay homage to the village
敬
gurus.
礼，了无代。
Homage to the venerable Mendel.
敬礼，善加正空上师。
Homage to Master Sakya Zangkong Bujung
16世大宝好卡玛巴。
Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa.
图登大人上师。
And homage to Master Dukdam Dorji.
文敬礼，坛城三宝。
Homage to the three jewels of the altar.
今天的
Homage to the nativity of good practice today.
真巴拉
Little
跟
Jamala
不放
and the 5 Dhyana Talakanas.
书单真干脆。
Tanjang Kanjo.
各位上师、
Dharma masters, Dharma educators,
讲师、
Dharma
助教、
teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples
你们
present
今天
here,
集会的贵宾是
and all participating VIP
中
today
华民
are
国驻瑞
Madam
典
to
兼
Ambassador
挪威
Damian
代表
Liao, the rep
廖
from
东洲
Republic
大
of
使夫
China
人
to
就职
Sweden and Norway, and Dharma Sister Judy.
那明天呢，可能是
And
廖
tomorrow,
大使会回来。
the Ambassador Liao will be
明
back,
天是礼拜天，让他
and tomorrow Sunday
回到西雅图。
he'll be in Seattle.
那生活中中委会会计师可以
According
赏
to
识
the Tribute Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa,
他是我们中国中的大掌柜。大掌柜
we can say she's the
庄俊耀医师。
housekeeper of Tribute School, and
啊，
Dr.
谢谢他
Ryan
帮
Zhuang.
忙很多的法师，还有
Thank you for
Amen.
helping many of the monks and nuns as well as fellow disciples for
看牙，
their dental needs. He's a dentist.
还有林淑华医师。
And Dr. Su Lin,
他是亚特兰大啊，在亚特
she's from
兰大。
Atlanta.
生活中中委会法律顾问周慧
And
芳
the law
律师。
advisor to Tribute Foundation, Dharma Sister Jennifer Zhou.
这个律师本身的，他还是在做律师的行业，
So she's still working as an attorney.
他本身也就是生活波业障，
She's also
生活波业障的负责人。
the one responsible for the PB Hoye,
那我们就讲说，这个周律师现在已经
Tribute
步入
Trove
正
of
业，
Divine Wisdom.
现在他变成好像是弘法
So
人，
we could say that she's not
生活波业障
working,
在他的
not
手上
into her work,
发展非常
but
的迅速。
instead she's
希望
like
还
a
没有
Dharma
这个
propagator. So the PB Hoye,
还没有加入会员
the
的，
Divine Wisdom
是
of
免费
Tribute
加入
School,
免费加入会员，
has developed
而且
very
能够
fast.
利用
And we
生活
hope
波
anyone
业
that
障，
has not joined the club,
能够
they
查
can
询到
join for free.
师尊的所有
And you can use this
272本
website
文集
to check, to search, and to
所有
read
的资料
all of Grandmaster's
都可
over
以查询得
270
到。
books. You can search all information there.
有时候呢，我自己也忘掉我自己写过什么东西，
Sometimes I
结果也
forget
是要靠这
what,
个
what I have
人
written,
家去查。说
so
哎，
I would rely
我
on
是
someone
不
to
会
check
手
for me.
机的人，我
I
我
don't
本
know
人
how
不
to
会，
use
也不会电脑，
cell phones and
那么也没有
computers.
平板，
I have no
也没有
tablets,
手机， 只手机是
No cell phones. But I have one.
是因为我车子如果在半路上，
just in case my
这
car
个
get
这 car broken 这个 have a trouble. I wanna tow car. I wanna tow car. 我就是
so that if my car
我
is
就是用
broken
这
and
个
I
手
need
机
a，
这
tow
个手机
car,
功能很好，
I use this. It has good functions.
很有功能。它可以关，可以开，
It can
可以打出
open
去，
and
但是人
close,
家打进来
can make
我
a
也不会
call,
用，
but no calls can get in,
我
and I
就
don't
只
know
能
how
够
to
打
do
这个
that.
手机打出去，
I only know how to
其
make
他的平
calls.
时我是关着的。
And normally I
这里 close
keep it
因为
close, keep
in
it
the
off.
highway car have a trouble. I can have use my cell phone. 然后就是只有这个手机而已，其他什么都没有。
That's the handphone I have.
这个功能
That's it.
好像也不错哦，
The functions are not bad.
好有功能吗？
The feature is pretty good. Does it have any functions?
这是古董。
It's an antique.
这个就是生活波业障我是听大家用的，
The
哇，
trove of divine wisdom of
你只要把名字
Tribute
打进去，
School, the
哪一本书里面有这个
dbboye.org.
名字，它都会全
I
部统统
heard
都
it
跳
from
出来。
people who use them that it's extremely
所以现在
great
这
to
个
search for anything.
周慧芳律师他是
So the
中国
attorney
波业障的
Jennifer
负责人，
Zhou, she's
而
the
且他
leader,
到
the
处
head
去
of this dbboye.org.
弘扬这个
So
正
she
佛密法，
travels everywhere
到处去，
to
很多
spread
的，
the Tribute
甚至
Tantric
到这个
Dharma.
学校去辅仁
And
大学，
sometimes she goes
也
to
有
schools
现在辅仁
and
大学
Furen
也有30
University.
几个，就是从来不知道正佛宗的。
There have been over 30
另外
people
在
who
辅仁
did
大
not
学
know
他也
anything about Tribute School before.
介绍我们正佛宗，
So
介
she
绍正佛
also
波业
set
障
up，a booth there to
很多人
introduce Tribute
把
School
500
and
本的
the
师
divine
尊的书
wisdom.
籍，也在辅仁大学全部
And we
推销
also have 500
全
books
部推销。
that have been sold at this Furen University. Okay.
那今天我们是修这个防财神，
So
这也是
today
一个
we
财神。
practice Yalu Jambala
先跟
Dharma.
大家讲
It
这
is
个
it is a wealth deity Dharma practice. It's
大
a
家晚
wealth
安，大家
practice.
好。
So first let me say good evening everyone. How do you
你
do?
好，大家好。
And in Cantonese.
防财神我们知道的，但是它有一
We
个特
know
殊的
about
地
Yalu
方，
Jambala.
以前是用香
But he has something very
要
unique.
点上香，
We use
然后
incense.
再由
We
香
have to lit the
幻化
incense,
成为西明山。
and then we transform the incense into Mount
那
Sumeru.
防财神呢，是住在西明山的半山，
And Yalu Jambala
西
resides
明山的半山。
halfway up Mount Sumeru.
那么半山呢，那叫四天王天。防财神属于多
At
闻
that
天，
half
当然
up
四
Mount
天王都是
Sumeru
财神。
are the heavens of the four heavenly kings.
那我讲
And
过，
the Yalu
在
Jambala
天
is
上
also one of the heavenly
最
kings, the
富有
Vaishravana. As I have said
就
before,
是
in
四天
heavens,
王，
the
最
wealthiest
富有。
one are the four
在海
heavenly
中
kings.
最富有，
And in
是
the
龙王。
ocean, the wealthiest one is the
在
dragon
地
king.
上最富有，
And on
可以
earth,
讲是山
we can
神、
say the wealthiest
山
one
神
is the mountain
跟
god.
监牢地神。
and the Prithivideva.
是在地面上最无，
They
地面
are
上
the
最无。
deities on the ground.
那我们常常修资粮道的时候，我们开始修行， 要修
Often
资粮道
practice。the accumulation
资粮道
of merits or
也就是
resources
讲，
at the beginning
你
of our
如
spiritual
何
practice.
把你这人生
On
当
this
中
path,
一切通通都没有缺，
we practice so that we
无缺，
don't lack
你能够
anything in our lives,
定下心来，
so
能够
that
好好的修行，
we can quiet
而
down
不为钱
and
去
focus
奔
on
波，
our spiritual
不为钱去
cultivation,
奔波。
so that we are not
我今天
held
听说，
in bondage by money, so that in Vietnam we have a True Buddha temple or Li Chang temple, and we have a master there, and there are two very knowledgeable and young translators who translate Grandmaster's books into Vietnamese. Of course, inside the dppoye.org, we have the English translations and Vietnamese translation. And Miss Jennifer Cho told me that these two Vietnamese translators have immigrated to New Zealand. Is it there on the North Island or the South Island of New Zealand? Don't know. Not sure whether it's the North or the South. Is the North Island bigger, where Auckland is? The Northern Island is the biggest island of New Zealand, and you are too. Because they both immigrated to New Zealand, and they're looking for work. After they moved there, they're young. And very optimistic. I have met them in Taiwan. It's extremely outstanding couple, and they have translated many books into Vietnamese. So they have done a lot for True Buddha School, and after they moved to New Zealand, they don't have any work, and they're looking for work. So Jambala should help them. And we use the Buddha's light so that they can find a job. And I hope that our disciples in New Zealand would help them to find a job. We can contact them. Do you have their address? You could give it to the director of our New Zealand temple. They could help find work for them. So we happen to have the director here. These Vietnamese are young and earnest and down to earth. And they immigrated to New Zealand, but you should find a job first before you go, right? But you go first and then you don't have a job. How could you have enough money or resources to live on? So we need to ask the director of New Zealand's temple, because you are local, you can help them what they should do, what kind of work. And we asked them what kind of work they want, and they said any work, as long as there is work. They don't mind the hardships. That we know that in New Zealand we have more sheep than women and than human beings. And the place is very spacious. I remember I went to Auckland, the biggest city in the North Island, and the Christchurch, which is the biggest city in the South Island, and the rest are just empty lands. So in such a place, it's not easy to find a job. So I hope that Jambala would help this young couple from Vietnam. And our directors here, and if they're in contact, hopefully they can find work to solve their problems, because we are all disciples, we are all fellow disciples. And the yellow Jambala is also a wealth deity, and we have so many wealth deities. True Buddha School has many wealth deities, and there's one in the Buddha land or Pure Land, which is Manohara, the goddess who attracts wealth. And she's also a wealth deity. She was emanated from the heart of Amitabha Buddha. So she's a wealth deity from the Buddha land. We have a Dharma sister Ing from Thailand. Her name is very long, but I just call her by Ing. When I was in Taiwan, she visited me in Taiwan temple, and she has no work, so every day she uses hook of Manohara, and she goes outside the house, and then she would hook, and recite the mantra of Manohara. And then she would buy the 4-number lotus, and she always win every time, continually for 3 years. She just used the hook of Manohara to hook, and she could win lotteries and the lottery prizes continually for 3 years. And when she visited Taiwan temple, I asked, do you still win? And she said yes, more or less every time she wins. And she said that she has no work, but by using the hook of Manohara, so she lived on the winning money of the lottery, and she earns more than the salaries of people who work. So I look at her and see what's special about her. She's a woman, a middle-aged woman, and she's rather tall. So I observe her, and I notice she has a huge mouth to hear from side to side. As soon as she opens her mouth, No wonder lots of money got into into it. Does anybody know her from Thailand? Nobody? Anybody that's seen her when we dine together? From Thailand, Sawadika. So she's been winning lottery prizes for continually for 3 years. And we asked her, do you still win? Yes, she said. So someone like this exists just by relying on Manohara. And Golden Mother is also a wealth deity, the instant wealth of Golden Mother. And Guru Padmasambhava is also a wealth deity. The money by shaking the tree, Dharma practice of Guru Padmasambhava, do you remember? And Padma Kumara too is a wealth deity because Padma Kumara is a Vajra of great wealth. Someone gave money to Grandmaster before I immigrated to Seattle when I gave spiritual consultation in Taiwan. You know how people give me money? Someone outside the fence used a box of money and threw it inside to my yard. And then I picked it up and threw it out. Threw it back out. And then he threw it back in and I threw it back out. So it's like we're playing basketball. Back and forth and back and forth. He had to give the money to me. Money placed in a box of a carton. So Vajra of great wealth. You would have money just by sitting around. Really. Sorry. Too embarrassed to say. Like today. Here, in front of my chest, I wear this thing. I didn't ask for it. I never asked for anything from this person, but she really wanted to give this. It's Dharma Sister Chen here. You know, at the center here is the 81 karat natural rubellite tourmaline. 81 karat. I don't want to say how much it is. Just this piece. 81 carats of the natural tourmaline rubellite. I will not say how much it is because your heart will skip a beat. Even myself. She gave it to me when I was in Taiwan. She came from a country and gave this thing to me. We could say that she's the third wealthiest person in that country. And she gave me this, and it's free from any impurities or flaws. 81 carats. And this thing is more expensive than ruby. Even more expensive than ruby. And it is 81 carats, flawless. rubellite. It's extremely difficult to find such a thing. And from Taiwan, I really wanted to bring it back to Seattle because Seattle is my real residence, real home, and Taiwan is only temporary residence. I did not want to bring things from Taiwan. We just leave things from Taiwan in Taiwan. But Golden Mother told me that it's okay, you can bring it back. So, how can we pass custom with this thing? So I thought about it then. And I will tell them. This is glass, and this gold. It's gold plated. And at the center is glass. But the custom officers are very smart. So I thought I shouldn't bring it back. I would say that it is my Dharma item. It's my Dharma implement because they made it into a Dharma implement, like a chanting beads. Actually, all these beads are all the rubellites. All these round beads. So I didn't dare to bring it. I just thought things in Taiwan I should leave in Taiwan, and things in Seattle I should just leave in Seattle. We should move it back and forth. But for this, I really want to bring back to America. What should I do? So I asked Golden Mother, and Golden Mother told me, don't worry, you can bring it back. And I told her that if it's really examined, then I would say it is a Dharma item. Then I would wear it on my neck and they could see it is a Dharma item. So because Golden Mother told me that I could bring it back, so I did. And then when I got to Seattle, at the airport, the check was very stringent. And the custom officer recognized me. And he said, "Oh, you are Master Lu, the living Buddha?" They didn't say pass, but they asked me to go this way and to go inside to have check. You know, I only have a small carry-on, as you know, every time I travel. But Simu has 5 luggages, 4 check-ins and 1 carry-on. I only have 1 small carry-on. So we have a total of 6 luggages. And my little luggage was on the top in the beginning. So when they wanted to check, so I placed all the luggages. So mine was at the bottom, and because we placed all the luggages there. And the custom officer recognized me and asked me for a check. you. So first they check her luggage. So nowadays the custom is like this. They would ask first, what is it inside your luggage? And then Simu said this and this and that and then and that. And then they open it and it's accurate. And then the second luggage, what's inside it? And it was in a carton box. And Simu also said this and that and that, and it was accurate again. And they checked about 3 of them. And there were 3 left, unexamined. And they got tired of it because nothing inside the first 3. And then I took mine. How about this one? No. You want to open? And when the custom officers saw that, they said, oh, it's okay. And that's how it passed the exam. But I wore this on my finger. And this was given when we perform ceremony in Indonesia. This was given to me during the Atisha ceremony. This was also a rubelite. It's also very expensive. 29 carat. This one is 81 carat. And this other hand, I also have this. And this was offered by Hong Kong. This was by Indonesia. And this is by a country's rich man. So it was all given to me. So I don't spend any money at all, except gas. The only money I spend is on gas. So is there any use to this? It's just beautiful to wear. But for me, there's no use at all. It's just a stone. All of this are just a stone, mineral. And one day, this will be passed on. It will be transferred to somebody else's. I will not sell them. I don't need to sell anything. So that's how the great wealth Vajra is all about. The wealth Vajra. In the future, you have become a master, the master who has received the authentic, true Dharma flow, and you have become a precious master, then it's the same. You also the great wealth Vajra. Or if you have attainments through your spiritual cultivation, you can also deliver sentient beings and spread the Buddha Dharma. Like the masters that we have today, the Vajra Acharyas, and the Dharma educators, Dharma teachers. If they have mastered the quintessence of Buddha Dharma, and they teach Buddha Dharma and spread Buddha Dharma, then you will be given offerings as a Dharma teacher. But you have to master it. You have to know and understand everything. Not the monk of three pleasures, which is pleasures from eating, sleeping, and playing. But if you have knowledge and you have fruitions from your practice, then your merits and good fortunes will fall on you naturally. That's the truth. Because you give spiritual responses to them, then they would give you something. Things that they ask for, things that they pray for, and you give them the proper responsive, then they would give. So actually this rubellite on my hand is the same, because they have received the response, the spiritual response, or the answer or the response to what they wish for, so they give in return. So some things, when I do spiritual consultation or do psychic consultation, and then if you are doubtful and skeptical, then that's not right. Like someone is really sick and you use your methods to bless them, and they immediately recover from their severe illnesses, and because they're extremely grateful, they just want to give to Grandmaster. That's how it was. Of course, I cannot say all the secrets. Like I cannot say which country or which rich man from which country. I cannot say. I cannot say. Or this, the president of which country. I cannot say. I don't dare to say. It was given by a president, an ex-president. So lots of things are like that. So in human lives, wealth is just for you to borrow. And Golden Mother has told me how many years left in my life, and you do your best to help me. I'm very moved. However, what Golden Mother said is very firm. It's extremely difficult to change. But I'm very grateful to you to help me, like by chanting the mantra of the longevity Buddha, and your prayers for me to stay in samsara, to continually turn the Dharma wheel. Thank you to you. However, she did tell me at what age how many years I would live. And it's very difficult to change, but I will try my best to do it. And if I have any flaws, you would tell me. Like last night, I made and she told me, you have to change this flaw. You have this fault. If you change this flaw, then you would become a holy sage. She told me, you have this fault. Last night she instructed me, you have to change your fault. Otherwise, once you change your fault, then you would become a holy person. That's what she told me. Of course, I want to change. However, not for the time being. Not yet. But I will, definitely. I will change. So now I will talk a little more on Lamdre. Third, rites for rebirth at other continents. Use 6 syllables to seal all the doors to the outside, except the top opening of the apex on our head, right here. So you need to use the blue home syllable to cover the eyes, the nose, the mouth, the navel, and the ears, and also the anus and the place that you urinate, except the top opening. So visualize a dark blue-green home 6 syllable, which at that time you need to visualize at your heart chakra there is a dark blue-green home 6 syllable. And you say Shiji 20 times to rise it to the throat area, 20 times. And on the 21st time, you shoot it out from the top opening using 3 kinds of key methods. And go to whichever continent or place that you wish for. Let me tell you, the earth is considered the south continent of Jambudvipa. Actually, in the Buddha Sutra, it's written there are 4 continents in the world. Mount Sumeru at the center, and the 4 continents are the east continent of Purva Videva. And if you read the journey to the west, so the Monkey King is from this place in the east continent. So he does not belong to this earth. And the west continent of the Apara Godaniya and the north continent of Uttarakuru. And there is the Pure Land called Xiangji. So these 3 other continents are Pure Lands. And the last one, the south continent of Jambudvipa, is where the human beings reside. It was written in the sutra. So if you want to be reborn in these other places, you use blue home to cover all the orifices. And then you use the dark blue-green home. And then you use Li. Say Li 20 times. And then you use Li for the 21st time. And then you leave through the top opening. And you can go to the other 3 continents, especially the north continent of Uttarakuru, which is the Pure Land, Xiangji. If one wishes to attain transformation rebirth, or upapaduka, then enter the center of an utpala or lotus flower. Like transformation rebirth, like Guru Padmasambhava, the lotus born, he was born from a lotus flower, lotus blossom, the center of a lotus, not from a womb. And if you want to be born from a lotus, then you visualize the center of a lotus blossom. For rebirth through a womb, enter the womb of a Brahman or a queen. If you want to be born from a human being, you want to find the best woman. Say the wife of a Japanese emperor. Then when you're born, you would become the Japanese emperor. Or if you want to go to Buckingham Palace of England, then you would be born as a prince of England. So if you have this capability, then you can find the king, and you want to become the king of that country, then you find the queen of that king, and you enter into the womb, her womb, and you can be born as you wish. That's called the transference of consciousness. So in Tantric Dharma practices, this exists. You don't want to be reborn into a beggar family, then you would become the small beggar. But instead you want to find the royalties, like you would be born as a prince of Arabia, then you would be really wealthy as soon as you're born. So it's written here, enter the womb of a Brahmin or a queen, and do so like projecting an arrow with a bow, which will guarantee a success. If you visualize your soul like the arrow shot from a bow into that womb, then you would be reborn from that womb. The above 3 types of rebirth application are considered the common methods for dying of the 4 empowerments. The last one below is considered uncommon. And tomorrow I will talk about the rites of the Mahamudra path. But for today, it's okay if you have transformation rebirth or womb rebirth. Of course, as human being, you don't want to be born from an egg or born from a moisture, like insects inside the ditch. The tiny insects, you don't want to be reborn there, right? Or as fish, or anything born from moisture. So for us, transformation, rebirth, or womb rebirth. Most of us, if we leave through the top opening, we can go to the Buddha land. This is important. Actually, for transference of consciousness or leaving through the top opening is that you have to practice normally. In your treasure-based energy yoga, when you cannot hold your breath anymore, then you use it. You use your chi to shoot to your top opening to open it. You need to open it. You can check if there's any hole at the apex of your head. Does it exist? If you don't, then you have to prepare. This is extremely important, this top opening. See, you can see, does Grandmaster have the opening? It's right here. Can you see it? It's there? It is there? Really? Can you see it? How come you have such a good eyesight that you could see it from so far? So you have to prepare this opening. Okay, so did you see it? So it has to leave from here. The rest you have to close. The eyes, nose, ears, mouth, navel. And the hole for the feces and urine. You have to use the blue home to enclose them, to seal them. Then you're guaranteed to go to the pure Buddha land as transformation body. Or if you want to be reborn through a womb, of course you can too. Like if you want to become the emperor of Japanese. What's the name of the Japanese emperor now? He has changed his title. So if you want to become Japanese emperor, yes, you can go there. You can find his wife, and if she's pregnant, then you can enter into the womb. You can shoot there, and you would be born a Japanese prince and to be emperor. So you can go to heavens or on earth or the other divine continents. Any one is fine. But remember one point, as said by Guru Padmasambhava. What did he say? All merits come from the treasure-based energy yoga. All merits are based on the treasure-based energy yoga, on the chi inside the lower dantian, forefinger width below the navel. That if you can focus and collect the chi in there, and by having this robust chi, only then you would be able to move your life chi and to move it and to transport it out from the top opening. So if you practice the treasure-based energy yoga for man, it's forefinger width below the navel. But for woman, is in the middle between the heart chakra and the navel chakra. So if in the future when you have made your chi very full and robust and strong, then you can move your life chi and to transport it out of your body. That's the tantric practice. But if you don't have any opening at the apex of your head, then you would be in trouble. You have to practice, because when you practice Treasure's energy yoga and you always shoot to the top and then the hole will open. That's the Dharma practice of opening the top opening. That's called the boa practice. And once it's open, you can only practice it once a month. So after you open it, you only have to practice once a month. That's good enough. But most importantly, you have to practice Treasure's energy yoga so that you can push your life chi up, 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 and then out of your top opening. This is the key point. So if you have no Treasure's energy yoga, it's impossible for you to open the top opening. It's impossible for you to do the poa practice. Then if you leave from the mouth, you would be reincarnated as something, or from the nose or from the eyes, then you would be reincarnated as accordingly. And we have said it in Taoism, but Tantrayana is slightly different. But the top opening is the same. In Taoism, if you leave through the eyes, if your soul leaves through the eyes, then you would become the water animals, like the fish inside the ocean. If you have bigger marriage, then you would become sharks or whales. If you have smaller marriage, you become small fish that you could eat hundreds of them in one mouth. If you leave through the ears or the nose, then you would become something accordingly. In Taoism, we say that if you leave from the navel, you would be reborn as a human being. But if you leave through the anus, then you're dead. You would go to hell or the 3 lower realms. If you leave through the path of urine, you also fall into the 3 lower realms. So the holes for urine and feces, you definitely fall into the 3 lower realms. So in Tantrayana, we have these special practices. But most importantly, you need to understand that when you die, you want to leave through the top opening. You want to open the gate to heaven, and then you close the path to hell and to the earth and everywhere. You have to close all the other orifices. As we have said earlier, sometimes you would become ghosts or non-human if you leave through other orifices, as it was written earlier. Xiaoming went to the pharmacy to buy some medicine. And Xiaoming said, "Boss, I want to buy a strong painkillers." And the boss asked, "Any pain that you need the strong painkiller?" And Xiaoming said, "No, I have no pain now. But tomorrow I want to bring my report card home." When I was young, I was like that too. but I didn't buy any painkillers. I just put a mop, a mat inside my underwear, so that when I was beaten, it would go boom boom. And then the teacher would took out like a rag from inside my uniform. The teacher asked Xiaoming, so take half from 8, then how much is it? We all know, right? And Xiaoming and Xiaoming asked, so do you cut it in half horizontally or vertically? And the teacher asked, is there a difference? And Xiaoming replied, if you cut it vertically, then it would be 3. And if you cut it horizontally, it would be 0. So from the first class, Xiaoming was kicked out of the classroom. So sometimes the dialogue between teacher and student so you have to explain clearly, otherwise there may be some misunderstanding. The teacher asked the students, why fish cannot talk? Why is the fish in water cannot talk? And Xiaoming stood up and said, if I place your head into the water, can you speak? So if I place the teacher's head into the water, can you still speak? Of course, Xiaoming is kicked out again. $5.20. So the 20th of May, in Chinese we say 520, which means I love you in Chinese. After playing papers, rocks and scissors for so many years, now finally I discovered that papers, scissors and rock actually means 520, which means in Chinese I love you. If I go like this to someone, that means I love you. There's no need to do this and say I steru. That means I love you. That's a good discovery. We can do this in the future. One night, the husband was speaking in his dream, and then all of a sudden, he called on the name of a girl, of a woman, and the wife was very angry and woke him up. What kind of dream was he having? Why did he call a woman's name? And then the husband said, that in the dream the mirror on the wall asks him who is the ugliest woman on earth. So he said the name of a woman. Should I continue? I'll just say this, the one on my head. When I was little, I heard the elderly said, the longer the chopsticks you use by a girl, the further away you would marry to. And there was a girl who would love to go abroad. So she used 2 chopsticks glued together to eat. And little did she know that when she grew up, she got married to someone who deep fry bread. What did it mean? Because there's this Chinese deep fried long bread, like when they deep fry it, you need the long chopsticks. So just now about having your soul leaving your body and transference of consciousness, do you have any questions? I have explained it very clearly. We have to be serious in our treasure with energy practice. Yeah. You breathe in and you hold the breath, and then you need to lift up your anus to close it, and then you push it down and you lift it up, and then you place it right here. This qi is extremely useful if you practice this regularly. In the future, this qi can move the life qi and transport it from the top opening. So this was taught inside Lamdre. Om Mani Padme Hum.